Take you now to the severe weather that's happening in Florida, because we are not finished with it, and we could see more of it today. Mainly today, it's going to be a wind damage situation, but you can't rule out a tornado, and we could see some hail as well. You can see Mexico Beach down there in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen. That, of course, is where we got hit by a terrible hurricane. What year was that now? 2018, when Michael came through? Sheesh, 2018 already. Mexico Beach just got crushed by that Category 5. Now we're seeing storms there. You'll see lightning start to pop up as well. But Jacksonville, Gainesville, Daytona, Orlando, Tampa, kids starting to figure out where they're going to college. A lot of great schools here into Florida that you could go to. But I'll tell you what, if you are thinking about going to Tallahassee, you'd be dealing with these storms this morning here at FSU. Great meteorology program there, by the way. You see that lightning there in Mexico Beach? Well, these storms going right into the Big Bend here of Florida with severe thunderstorm warnings and also tornado warnings for us right along I-10. Bay and Gulf counties, you're under severe thunderstorm warning. And I'll tell you what, there's going to be a lot of strong winds with this. Port St. Joe's right by Mexico Beach. I know this because that is the area I was in before I fled to Panama City Beach to meet up with Jim right before that hurricane. Apalachicola, this is coming in for you as well. Bainbridge, Georgia, Bristol, heavy rain, and this will all continue to move eastbound. So if you're in places like Carabel, 651, Stop Choppy, St. Mark's, 658, 714 is when these storms are going to be knocking on your door. And there is the possibility of a tornado with this as well. You can see that tag here on the warning, though it's to the north where we do have severe thunderstorm warning and also tornado warning for us here just south of Albany. Severe thunderstorm warning. There's Tallahassee for you right there. This is all going to be making its way through the state capital for us. As we widen out into the peninsula, this entire system will take not only through the day today, but into tomorrow to actually go through us. It doesn't even really get through us tomorrow. Look at all the moisture, though. Dew point temperatures in the upper 60s, the 70s. That is a lot of lift in the atmosphere, a lot of buoyancy, and we have a lot of that as well, a lot of energy to really kick things off. The most energy and the most favorable place for tornadoes right now is up here into the Panhandle. And as we go through the day, you're going to see all of this rain make its way along I-10 and then down 75, down 95. Notice through the day, it really kind of lingers here into our Wednesday evening. And even as we head into our early Thursday morning, a few showers here down into South Florida. So getting on the bus could be a little bit wet here. Gusty winds, too. Some of these, by the way, 40, 50 mile an hour winds are possible with this, and you can see that that will cause not only, issues if you're trying to fly, travel, but that'll definitely blow the trees around. Jim, a lot of palm trees in Florida that are super strong and skinny, so they don't usually get taken down by this kind of wind.
Yeah, usually it takes about...
So many words people use to describe a total solar eclipse, like breathtaking, awe-inspiring, even life-changing. It's been described as the greatest show on Earth.
So we wanted to get a little insight, and we sent meteorologist Alex Wilson to Goddard Space Center in Maryland to find out more.
Action for you there right at the end. You see that?
That was nice.
You can watch our special eclipse coverage on April 8th here on the Weather Channel. We'll have crews literally across the entire path of totality, and we will give you live views and expert analysis.
So there's a little something different on this map than what we had.
We've got Chris Bruin here. He's going to go for the snowstorm and stick around for the eclipse.
And we were talking about this the other day, and he has the chance to have a fresh snowpack with an eclipse. Think about that.
I wonder how often that actually happens.
That's a great question.
It
depends on where it's happening, right? What time of the year.
Yeah.
So either way, we are loaded in through here. Here's the forecast right now. Chris has the best shot.
He does have.
That's why he's there.
Yeah. Tornado warned storms slash Charleston and other areas of West Virginia with powerful winds. Welcome back to America's Morning Headquarters. Those winds, I'm telling you what they did, a lot of damage. Pried up an office building's roof in Charleston, causing parts of the brick facade to crumble. One gust in Wayne County, about an hour's drive west of Charleston, 92 miles an hour. No tornadoes noted in West Virginia, but a dozen have been reported in states from the Great Lakes to the Deep South. And Jim, we say it time and time again, sometimes the wind damage can be just as bad as a weak tornado, or the damage could be worse because it could take a tree down onto a house.
You're right. And it can be much more widespread, much more.
And go to the north side of this big system, because thanks to our virtual view technology, I'm standing in Milwaukee where there is an April snow shower. This is not going to bring flowers, right? As the saying goes, not a lot of accumulation by the lake, but it will be a slick morning commute. The rain and snow eventually mixing, making for a messy midweek in Milwaukee. Say that 3 times fast. The Brewers hosting the Minnesota Twins for an afternoon matinee. Milwaukee is almost 15 inches below average for snowfall on the season. The grassy areas will pick up on this snow. Let's have a look at not only Milwaukee, but other areas around here. 2-4 inches of snow still to come through tomorrow. But it is a little bit on the warm side. It is a little bit on the wet side. So it'll be good snow, good packable snow, heavy snow if you're doing any shoveling. Chicago getting some of that snow in here. But again, we are right on the line here. And it doesn't, by the way, have to be 32 degrees in order for it to snow. It can be warmer than 32 degrees. There's other dynamics at play in the atmosphere that can help make it snow actually well above 30 degrees, believe it or not, if it's really dry out. Anyhow, we do have right along the lakefront, you're going to get better chance for rain because of the warmer waters. But as you go a little westbound, that's where you're going to have the snow. And then into tomorrow morning, it's going to be lingering all very light. And then we're going to turn over to rain. Let's look at the UP of Michigan. That's where we'll have the heaviest stuff. Double-digit snow for us here just outside of Marquette. And Marquette, we are going to see a pretty steady snowfall here as we go through the day. It's going to be on the moderate side. We won't get to heavy, but we'll get some moderate snowfall, 5 to 8 inches for us when all is said and done. New York, it's a rain event for you, a couple inches. And I know we don't need any more rain. We've been just soaked here, but we are going to get soaked yet again after a beautiful weekend. A lot of rain, just round after round pouring through. But at least the weekend's going to look a lot nicer for the eclipse here in the Northeast, even the partial eclipse. I think we're at like 80% here in the Northeast, Jim, for like along the I-95 corridor.
Yeah, and it's interesting, the storming.
So let's talk about where we're going to see the severe weather today. Florida and damaging winds. And by the way, damaging winds can be just as intense as a weak tornado. I mean, they could take a tree down that could crash on your house and it could look like tornado damage. Sometimes these winds are so strong, as Reynolds was just telling you, over 100 miles an hour, you're getting into tornado level there. Look there down into Florida, into Carabel, Florida. The thunder and lightning has gotten into you, but Jacksonville, Gainesville, Daytona, Tampa, Sarasota, and everywhere in between, you could get in on these storms as well. So there we go into the Big Bend of Florida. Severe thunderstorm warnings. They extend up into southern Georgia for us too, and they are splitting I-10 essentially, but I-10 is wet. The heaviest stuff has made its way through Port St. Joe, going into Apalachicola, St. Mark's, Tallahassee, the state capital as well. We are not in a severe thunderstorm warning, but we do have that rain. The bigger picture shows that this line, that by the way goes all the way into the Midwest and the Northeast, this entire system, but this line in particular is going into very humid air. Humid air is more buoyant than dry air, and that means that we are going to see more thunderstorms later. Now, right now, the highest energy we have is into the panhandle of Florida, but there will be plenty as we get that daytime heating. The tornado parameter is also highest there, most favorable into the panhandle, into southern Georgia, where we're seeing those warnings. But as this goes through the Sunshine State, it's going to be clouded over. It's going to be rainy. You're going to get the lunder. Oh, you know what? I think that should be a new word. Lunder, lightning and thunder. Lunder. Why are we not using that to just put them together and make it a lot easier?
Travesty, we're not using it.
It is, right?
Travesty.
Lunder. That's what I'm going to start using, Lunder. This goes all the way through Florida, just into the southern tip there as we head into tomorrow. Winds, by the way, these could gust as high as 50 miles an hour with this entire system coming in. So that means you're going to have bumpy conditions. Look at Tampa if you're trying to take off. Flights, I think we could have some delays in Florida between the storms, the Lunder, and all the wind, too. Here along I-10, Lake City over into Jax, it stays pretty wet through the day today. So if you're spring breaking, it is going to be an indoor type of day. All right, Jim, let's talk about all the snow that we're going to get.
Abrams, I think you're onto something.
Snow for us here. Marquette, a solid 5 to 8 inches. We're going to stay in moderate snow. You might get to S+. That's heavy snow at times here, but the wind is going to be blowing this around. It is going to be pretty heavy and wet here too. Look at that double-digit snowfall for us here to Marquette and along 41. So Chicago, Waukegan, Muskegon, Milwaukee, we're an interesting forecast. We're always an interesting forecast because getting the influence of the relatively warmer lake does make a difference on your snowfall here right along the lake versus away from it into places like Rockford up to Janesville and Madison. You get more snowfall, but the snow will get into our lakeside cities here. But then watch how things kind of mix out as we not only warm, but get the influence of that lake, and we get more snow coming in. Then we're going to switch back to rain. So we're kind of all over the place here. That's why I don't think accumulations are going to be huge in the Chicagoland area. A little heavier as you're away from all that mixing that's happening. In and around New York City, we are going to get another 1 to 2 inches, and it's going to come in several rounds. And some of this could be very heavy for you. Look at this, another one coming in 4 or 5 o'clock with very heavy rain making its way into the evening hours as well. So it's kind of an all-day situation for us here. Philadelphia down into Jersey, Trenton, Teaneck, Cherry Hill, all these areas. It's going to be on and off weather here, Reynolds, through the day as well.
Yes, indeed. And ahead of
These 31 million people, and most likely many more, will have their eyes toward the sky in 5 days on April 8th. The hope to witness a spectacular sight, a total solar eclipse.
Just seeing one is amazing, but for some it goes even further. Meteorologist Alex Wilson explains in our continuing coverage sponsored by Bristol Myers Squibb. You can watch special eclipse coverage next Monday, April 8th on the Weather Channel. We are going to have crews across the path of totality, bringing you live views, expert analysis from Texas all the way up here into the Northeast.
The answer could be in the dust. Could you imagine that?
How cool was that?
That was really pretty riveting, to say the least. Right now, as we take it at face value, looks like the best viewing will be in New England with Steph. An added bonus, you've got a fresh snowpack and potentially really a perfect eclipse.
A fresh 2 feet of snow on the ground for you there.
A fresh,
I'm not
deep
giving up hope, though, for those of us in the Midwest and the South, because I think there's something when the eclipse starts to happen, the temperature changes, the clouds
Maybe you're right.
It has happened before.
She's witnessed it.
Tornado-warned storms slash Charleston and other areas of West Virginia with powerful winds. Welcome back into America's Morning headquarters. Those winds pried up an office building's roof in Charleston, causing parts of the brick facade to crumble. One gust in Wayne County, about an hour drive west of Charleston, clocked in at 92 miles an hour. No tornadoes noted in the state, but a dozen have been reported from the Great Lakes to the deep south. And the thing is wind damage, which we could see again today, can actually be a lot more widespread than a tornado and can be just as damaging, Jim, as a low-end tornado.
Well, and that's what they're going to face.
A third of the country is under a severe weather alert, from tornadoes to flooding to blizzards, and several states are under watch. The same system spawning a severe weather outbreak in the Midwest and South on Tuesday. Strong winds packing 102-mile-per-hour gusts reported in Kentucky. Dave Malkoff with our partners at CBS joins us live from Sunbright, Tennessee, an area that was hit hard by the outbreak. Dave, what type of damage have you seen?
Well, Stephanie, take a look.
How widespread is that damage? Does it seem like if this was, in fact, a tornado, of course, the National Weather Service will survey it. Does it seem like it was on the ground for a long time if it was?
This doesn't look
of the average. Dave, thank you so much. Dave Malkoff, our partners with CBS. We appreciate your report this morning. Jim, getting 15, 20 minutes, that's significant.
You know, I wonder if there is a
Visual View Technology. I'm standing in Milwaukee where there are April snow showers. This is not going to bring the flowers. Not a lot of accumulation by the lake, but I'll tell you a little farther inland, we could see a few inches pile up. It will make for a slick morning commute. The rain and snow eventually mixing in, making for really a messy midweek in Milwaukee. The Brewers hosting the Twins for an afternoon matinee. Milwaukee's almost 15 inches below average on snowfall. A lot of places 2, 3, 4, even 5 feet below average on snowfall from the Midwest to the Northeast. So notice closer to the lake, we are going to feel the effects of the relatively warmer lake. And so that means that it's lighter snowfalls by the lake, a little bit, 4 inches or so as we move to the interior. There's your snow right now. Yes, it is above freezing. It does not have to be freezing or below in order to snow. In fact, it can be well above freezing in snow, especially if you have dry air in place. That can really help it snow. If you have some rain falling, there's cooling and condensing and all sorts of things that are happening in the atmosphere. Anyhow, back to what you're going to see, and you're going to feel the influence. Look at this, Waukegan, even Milwaukee, all the way down over into Gary. We are going to see that rain. You'll get the snow mixing in at times, but you'll get some daytime heating, and that means you're going to see more of that liquid mixing in here near the lakes, and then back to the snow, and then back to the rain. So it's kind of all over the place for us here, which means that you're not going to see huge accumulations, because you're going to get the rain mixed in as well. But the biggest accumulations looking like they will be here, double digits, Marquette and westbound in the UP of Michigan. That's where we'll have pretty decent moderate snow throughout the day. I mean, this is starting this morning all the way as we head into our Thursday morning as well. So over the next 24 hours, it's rain here in the I-95 corridor. I was going to say the Northeast, but it's really kind of the I-95 corridor, and heavy rain coming in around lunchtime, several different rounds coming through. So you definitely need the galoshes, everything. Don't forget any of your rain gear at home today. Otherwise, you will be soaking wet. Snow to the north here, basically north of Boston, Worcester, maybe a little bit here. The Berkshires, higher elevation, you could get in on some of that snow. But Boston, we're just going to stay too warm. Again, influenced by that water. The frozen stuff tries to get in, but I'm just not certain we're really going to get in. Maybe a flake or two on the backside of this system here, but nothing that's going to be monumental. That is all up into New England, where we are going to see double-digit snowfall, Jim, and some significant wind with this as well.
Right in the path of...
Remember that you don't have to have a tornado to get significant damage. You can get it just out of winds that come out of these thunderstorms, and that's what our biggest threat is going to be today, the damaging winds and hail. Isolated tornado we could get as well. Jacksonville, Gainesville, all the way down really to Lake Okeechobee, there's that possibility. The storms are still quite fierce, though we only have one severe thunderstorm warning into southern Georgia. There was multiple severe thunderstorm warnings on this line earlier. Now it's just a heavy rain that is streaming from the Gulf right into Perry. Still seeing clouds and showers at PCB, Panama City Beach. Lightning. We've got Lunder going on. That's lightning and thunder. I'm going to make that a thing. I'm going to make it happen here because it just gets both words into one, making it so much easier. Lunder, lightning and thunder. This is all going to be tapping into a lot more moisture that we've got here in Florida. It is hot. It is humid. It feels very, very warm out there to start the day. Sweaty as well. There's plenty of oomph in the atmosphere on the Panhandle. Once it gets to the peninsula, I'm telling you that this oomph is going to be growing through the day, and we'll still get the chance for some of those storms. So this will ride through Gainesville, go Gators, down towards Daytona Beach, Orlando, UCF down there, make its way into Tampa as well, University of South Florida there, Melbourne, all the way down, getting into places like FAU as well. And then this will finally eventually get out as we head into our Thursday, but still early Thursday morning, Palm Beach down to Miami-Dade, Broward counties, we could still see clouds and showers. Winds could be quite gusty too. This is for winds 40, even 50 miles an hour, so keep that in mind. If you have any flights, there could be delays, not only from the line of storms coming through, but also just these really strong winds that really kind of linger into our Thursday afternoon, especially up towards Daytona Beach. The first coast here, Jacksonville, 95. We are going to see the rain come through, and there'll be a couple rounds, Jim, before we really clear out as we head around bedtime.
And we'll see if we get any
more detail of where we are going to see the snow and when. You have S-, S+. We're going to stay kind of in that S category as we go over the next 24 hours here into Marquette, where we could get a good 5 to 8 inches of snow, perhaps double digits even in the suburbs here of Marquette. And off to the west, too. The areas Waukegan, Milwaukee, Chicago, Gary, as you head around the lakes here, we're influenced by the relatively warmer lake waters. And so we get that rain to mix in. Yes, we'll get a little bit of snow. I just saw a video of Chicago with very light snow coming down. But notice that you get the rain-snow mix, and you get maybe just rain at times. Then the snow takes back over, and then we're going to have the rain that's going to take back over as well. So we're kind of all over the map here when it comes to the rain and the snow. 1 to 3 inches is all that we're going to be able to muster with this system. It is all rain, however, here from Boston, New York, down into Philly. That's where we'll see rounds of heavy rain. You do want to remember all of the rain gear today, because look around noon, very heavy stuff coming in. This is the kind of day where if you have a bunch of errands to run, if this was your day, you were like, oh, really? You don't want to really leave the house. It's just a little water. It won't hurt you. In fact, it'll probably make you stronger to do something that you don't want to do. That's out of your comfort zone. That's where you find your strength. That's where you build those muscles. Philadelphia also 1 to 2 inches here. We will see the on and off showers from Reading over into Trenton, Cherry Hill, right across the river there from Philly. We will see the heavier bouts of rain coming in. We do clear out for our Thursday, which will be nice for a little bit, and then we get more of the showers coming on in, because the system just wants to linger around. It doesn't really fully kick out until, I mean, even Saturday it kind of lingers around. Boston, snow will be to your north, but it is all rain for us, Reynolds, here in Beantown.
A lingerer.
People use to describe a total solar eclipse, like breathtaking, awe-inspiring, even life-changing. It has been described, and I agree with, as the greatest show on Earth.
Yeah, absolutely, for many of us. And we wanted to get a little insight. So we sent meteorologist Alex Wilson to Goddard Space Center in Maryland to find out more. Moment you can watch our special eclipse coverage on April 8th on the Weather Channel. We'll have crews across the path of totality here, bring you live views and expert analysis.
All right, so let's get a look at your eclipse forecast, sponsored by Bristol Myers Squibb, and show you what we're going to be dealing with.
Yeah, first of all, those teams, we've added another team because of the propensity of being much better weather in Maine and a snowpack.
Yeah,
which will be an awesome feature.
All right, so here's the thing. We are going to have a graphic to show you tomorrow to explain exactly why we have these cloud percentages along the path of totality, because you've got a jet stream, a Pacific jet stream coming in. We've got vorticity in the atmosphere. We've got surface moisture coming up from a ridge here. There's kind of a lot going on. We're going to explain it all for you tomorrow in detail.
We've also seen SPC put out a day 6
over Dallas
of potential severe weather. So that's going to be interesting. But the farther north we go, we may get a break, and then we'll see what happens. I think Maine, again, I've been going with that all week. Yeah. I'm going to stick with it.
Listen, all it takes is one cloud to block your view.
She saw that.
And all it takes
she saw that happen.
It broke. To part.
You think the weather broke it, don't you? You think the sun being blocked broke it?
Tornado-warned storms slash Charleston and other parts of West Virginia with powerful winds. Welcome back into America's Morning headquarters. Those winds actually pried up an office building's roof in Charleston, causing parts of the brick facade to crumble. One gust in Wayne County, about an hour's drive west of Charleston, clocked at 92 miles an hour. No tornadoes noted in West Virginia, but a dozen have been reported from the Great Lakes to the Deep South. And notice, whether you get a tornado or damaging winds, sometimes, Jim, you can't even tell the difference because they're very similar.
Yeah, I mean, you can get...
Well, thanks to our virtual view technology, I'm standing in Milwaukee, where there are going to be April snow showers. I wonder if these are going to bring the May flowers. Not a lot of accumulation, but we will see kind of a messy commute here for us to and from work and school. The rain and snow eventually mixing in. It's just going to be really kind of a messy midweek in Milwaukee. A little alliteration for you. Brewers hosting the Twins for an afternoon matinee. Milwaukee's almost 15 inches below average on snowfall for the season, that is. I don't ever really call an afternoon game a matinee in baseball. You know, it's funny because I always associate matinee with the theater, and I mean, it's the same thing.
Well, I don't know, Abrams. These days, there's a lot of theater going on in baseball.
There is a lot of theater going on.
So you could kind of make that.
Touche, Jim, on that one. Here is a look at the snow still to come. It's 1 to 3. It's not a lot that's going to be coming down. And one of the reasons is we're going to see some rain mixing into this. We've got the moisture. We've just got these warmer temperatures. You can see we are above freezing. Yes, you can be above freezing and it can snow. It doesn't have to be 32 or colder. In fact, it can snow well warmer than actually 32 degrees. But that's a whole nother discussion for a whole nother time here. The warmer lake here is going to influence our weather, so we could see some rain for us along 94. And we're going to go in and out of the rain and the snow. It's going to be kind of a mix all day. You get a little rain, you get a little snow, you get a little rain-snow mix. I did see video out of Chicago this morning with some light flakes coming down. I don't think that the roads are going to see, you know, a lot of accumulation, but they will certainly be wet, which makes things a little bit slower. Otherwise, we are going to see the heaviest snowfall there into the UP of Michigan, just to the west of Marquette. That's where we are going to get pretty moderate snowfall for the next 24 hours, maybe lighter snowfall as we head on into our tomorrow morning. Along along the Boston, New York, Philly, D.C. line, it is rain for us. It's just too warm, and it's going to be on and off very heavy rain as we go through the day. So don't think you're finished. Look at this around lunchtime, thinking you're going to run out to grab lunch. Well, you'll need all the rain gear that you've got. And, you know, I've never thought, you know, to get boots when it's wet, because in a lot of cities, just hop in your car and go. But if you live in a walking city like New York, like Boston, like Philly, it is worth having some boots to wear on days like this. Boston, it's rain for us with the frozen stuff just to the north. Maybe you'll see a novelty snowflake coming in on the backside of this system. But overall, you know, we are below average here, Jim. 2, 3, 4, 5 feet in several cities in the Northeast.
It's over.